we're back.
We're back from our break.
Our hiatus. So there's either people going to be like, yay, you're back, or
oh no, they're back. What are they going to say?
Sorry. But we have things we always have to say, and we want to do an update and kind of like wrap it up in a bow and kind of move on from this topic. Because I feel like it's dragging. Don't you feel like this in the community, this topic is just dragging out with everybody? Yeah. So
they keep talking about it.
Yeah, now there's new spokespeople.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know what that's about. It's kind of strange.
Today we're going to cover Rick Fearons' channel from a couple weeks ago, the May 17th, 2025 episode. So if anyone wants to check that out, this is what we're going to be talking about. We're just going to bring up a small little part, like 20-minute clip where Stephanie jumped on and talked to the lawyer, Travis Walker, and you jumped on and you called in, which I thought was pretty cool. So I took out that little snippet. It was nice that, you know, we had an opportunity to actually ask the questions, but it is funny whenever you're on Rick Fearons' show, everyone knows he doesn't check the chat. So you can be in the chat. Yeah, we're like you and I asking questions, asking nothing. So I was thankful that Stephanie got on and said, hey, there are questions in the chat. Can we address those questions? So this is kind of where we pick up in this clip. So I'm going to put it on the screen.
This will be like new for me because I haven't seen this in weeks. So
yeah, it's been so long. So it's going to be like fresh, like brand new.
Yeah, a fresh wound.
Brand new. Yeah. Brand new reactions.
Hi, Rick. This is Stephanie. How are you?
Good, Stephanie. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, nice to hear you. Star, nice to see you. Thank you for being on, Travis. We really appreciate you coming on and talking to the community about this. And also, I thank you for representing me in my upcoming case. So we do have some questions that are coming up in the comments that I was hoping you might be able to address tonight. None of us here are legal minds like you. We've been trying to explain this amazing call for healing that you have offered your services to help the community to heal and to grow from this and to make changes for the future. Referring back to Nod very quickly, the issue of clergy penitent privilege was just passed in the state of Washington, but now the Department of Justice has picked that up and is reviewing it on a federal level for constitutionality, which, you know, is actually a good thing because now we have the issue of clergy penitent privilege, the secrecy that you're explaining to us that is allowing this trafficking to continue. We have it going to a federal level at the same time that we're coming together collectively, raising our voices.
Okay, I want to address that because I don't agree with her.
Yeah. No, it's not a good thing. How is this a good thing?
Yeah, no, it's not. That's where I think for some of these people that support Trump, that TDS comes in because they want to see the best in Trump. So the way to see that is to do mental gymnastics and say, oh, it is good that that the Trump administration is now questioning something that took how many years for them to do in Washington? Like, it's been years probably they tried to get this law put into place so that children would be protected and they could not use that loophole of keeping, you know, and have the mandatory report. So yeah, her saying that is, I don't agree with that. It's not good. It's not good.
And they're calling it, they labeled it anti-Catholic. Yeah, so they're taking it as if it's an attack on religion.
Right. And the Watchtower uses that as a loophole. Do they have priests that work in the Watchtower? I mean, that's what it is, right? It's a clergy penitent privilege that when, you know, you go and you give confession as a Catholic, you are supposed to feel like it's private and no one's going to expose you. But when it comes to pedophiles, I don't think that applies. I don't think it should apply. There should be mandatory reporting for people who do horrible crimes like that. I mean, I would say even murder would be something you might want to report. So It is questionable that the Watchtower uses that state by state, depending upon the state. If I'm understanding this correctly, they'll go state by state. And if that state has the law where they have that loophole, the Watchtower will inform them not to call the police. But if there is that where they are forced to do mandatory reporting, then they will call the police. So,
I mean, they're supposed to, but I
Yeah.
don't even think they do it even when they're supposed to.
yeah, we don't really know, but they claim
Yeah.
they do. I mean, they claim
Right.
they do, allegedly. So,
Right.
yeah, I just wanted to pause that because I thought that was a important part because I just completely disagree with that. So.
Yeah.
So I do think we're standing in a very powerful moment, or a God moment, we might even want to call it. But people are asking about the technicalities of what this mass tort or class action. Is there one person that would be in the front of it, like a predominant person on the case, or is each case still dealt with on each of their own merit? There is some questioning there. I was hoping you might be able to help clarify, please.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's a great question and a great opportunity to clarify. So the way I look at it, there's basically three different types of cases is what you're looking at. There's what we call class action cases, there's mass tort MDL cases, and there's individual cases. Class action cases are kind of like your Bank of America, your bank, Wells Fargo does a fraud on, check cards and everybody gets a $25 check. That's not what we're doing. The mass tort cases, there's advantages and disadvantages to doing those. Some of the advantages is that there's centralization of discovery. There's one judge that oversees all these cases, so they understand the content and everything. The bad thing is that sometimes it gets lost in translation. The third option is to bring individual cases, which is essentially what we're doing because ultimately we would like to get to an MDL, which is not a class action. It's very different because if you think of the bank case, the bank, almost everybody who had the same check card issue has the same damages. But in a mass tort like Jehovah's Witness, one person may have been raped, unfortunately, several times as a child, and another person may have been, labor trafficked. One of the things that I don't think that obviously sexual abuse is rampant in Jehovah's Witness, and we have a lot of survivors coming forward on that issue, but we're also seeing labor trafficking issues and Jehovah's Witness using and abusing children for labor. And basically labor trafficking is occurring in that aspect too. So those type of damages are going to be different. And that's why, it's not a class action. You're not going to have somebody at the forefront. Everybody's damage is going to be different. It's just like the Boy Scout cases. The Boy Scouts, again, you had some people who were sodomized and raped, unfortunately, and some people who were, molested in different ways. So everybody's damages are different. And I think everybody's damages in Jehovah's Witness are going to be different as well.
Okay, so that was one of the questions that we had originally, and it sounds like it isn't a class action. It's something he called a mass tort.
He called it a mass tort, but he used another term that I'm just picking up now. He said we'd like to get it to a MDL. Like, what's that?
Yes. If we look up mass tort, let's see if I can add this to the screen real quick.
And he said that, and then there's complications with those too. So what does he mean? Like, he didn't explain what are the complications of them. Yeah.
A mass tort lawsuit is a legal action where multiple injured individuals file individual lawsuits against the same defendant or group of defendants for similar injuries caused by a common event or product. Unlike class action lawsuits, each plaintiff has their own separate case, allowing for personalized attention to unique circumstances. Common examples include cases involving defective products, environmental disasters, or pharmaceutical drugs. Okay. And then if you look down, it says definition. Here's more detail. A mass tort is a group of individual lawsuits filed by multiple plaintiffs who have all been harmed by the same or similar act, product, or event. Unlike class actions, each plaintiff is a mass tort files their own separate lawsuit. Okay. You're right. MDL, he did bring that up. What does that mean? MDL. Should we look that up? MDL.
Like, we would like to get it to an MDL.
Yeah, I'll look up MDL cases. Let's see. So it says
that must be it.
Multi-district litigation is a legal process that consolidates related lawsuits from different federal courts into a single court for coordinated pre-trial proceedings. This process, initiated by the Judicial Panel on Multi-District Litigation, aims to streamline litigation, reduce costs, and avoid conflicting rulings. Cases are then returned to their original courts for trial or settlement if not settled during the MDL. Ooh, okay. So it says by consolidating the cases, MDLs can reduce discovery duplication, streamline pre-trial proceedings, and potentially lead to more efficient and consistent resolution of disputes. So it sounds like you bring all the cases maybe to one judge, and then that they in a single court. It's a way for them to not to have it go all over the place. You know what I mean? Like all different. Yes, that's what it sounds like to me. That part, I feel like, is answered. It's not class action.
Yeah.
It's something else. It's where he's going to take the cases individually, but then hopefully if they're similar, maybe they will go all together and deal with it, maybe under the same judge or the same court or something like that. So,
and that makes sense, you know, like,
yeah.
Very good answer to the question.
Thank you.
I think I might have even misunderstood some of this myself, and I'm working directly with you. So thank you. So am I also to understand that you want to hear from labor trafficking victims of Watchtower?
Yeah, I mean, so say for instance, and again, I can't go into very specifics because I can't give away my client's attorney-client privilege and confidentiality, but children who were forced to work in restaurants or in farms or in other places, even forced to clean the temples or whatever. I'm happy to talk with people who of course, unfortunately, are dealing with sexual abuse, but if they were also forced into labor, basically child labor, happy to chat with them about that too.
He used a Mormon term there, temples.
Yeah.
Instead of kingdom halls, but yeah, I know what he meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying that he wants to hit it at different angles. It's not just CSA or SA. He also is saying that if as a child you were used for labor to clean toilets, go out in service, I'm guessing anything that would be considered labor for a child, it sounds like they're going to go after that topic as well. Is that how you
that would be great? Yeah, that's how I understood it, and I think that's really great because like every kid was forced to go door knocking and sell magazines. I mean, sell whatever,
Yeah. Depends on how old you were, or like how old you are. It used to be donations, or they used to sell them. Then it was donations, and so it's changed. It's an ever changing as the light gets brighter. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and see that was a thought that I had too about the time cards when they changed that. I'm like, oh, okay. One of the reasons that they're changing those time cards is because little kids have their names on a card and they hand in how many hours they're putting in of labor for Watchtower.
Good point. So then
don't
there's
want
no
evidence of that.
Yes, there's no proof of it. You're right. There's no paper trail of that. Yeah, you're right. Because Watchtower, they're the dumbest, smartest organization I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some of the things they say are so dumb and push people out when you're like, why did you do that? You could have had a lifetime member, and then they do things like this, and it's like, okay, we get why you're doing it. We get why you change things, because the Norway case, where we see what you're trying to do, changing the names of things, of shunning and things like that. Yeah, right. Okay. Yep, we see that.
Yep.
Okay, good. Thank you for clarifying that. And each individual case will be heard on its own merit is also what I'm hearing. So I think I may have mistranslated some of the communication to the community. So I want to apologize for that now. And also very, very, very much thank you for being here to clarify these subjects for us. So
I appreciate her apology there. I just wanted to say that she apologized and said, that she was sorry for misinterpreting or going around telling everybody it was class action when it wasn't that. So
Thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your courage in coming forward, because it's not easy, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, Travis. Appreciate you.
If the governing body, if the Jehovah's Witness gets served with a lawsuit, they fail to respond to the lawsuit, we get whatever we have in our complaint, our lawsuit, by a default final judgment.
One governing body member, I believe it was Garrett Loesch, and he was, I guess the term would be summoned to come into court, and he didn't come. So he was fined, the watchtower was fined $400 a day. And this went on for like 3 years. I mean, have you heard of this before?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the rules are different from state to state, and I don't know if this is a criminal case or a state case, but obviously $400 a day for Jehovah's Witness, I mean, that's probably what they take in 10 seconds. I mean, so there's no that kind of penalty, unfortunately, isn't going to have it. What I do want to kind of bring to your audience's attention too is the criminal justice system, like I was saying before, unfortunately doesn't always bring justice for survivors. Whether law enforcement doesn't understand completely the depth of the organization, whether there's complicity. But I like to use the comparison of the O.J. Simpson case. Everybody remembers the O.J. Simpson case. O.J. Simpson went to a criminal trial, and beyond a reasonable doubt, he was found to be not guilty in a criminal level. Now, later, the families brought a civil lawsuit against O.J. Simpson, and he was found responsible civilly because the standard is lower in a civil case than it is for a criminal case. So even though, and that's another reason why using the civil justice system to go after Jehovah's Witnesses is going to be is helpful, because the standards are lower than they are in criminal cases. The discovery rules are much different. You don't have the same Fifth Amendments. You don't have the same speedy trial rules. There's a lot of things that are in criminal cases, and it sounds as though what happened maybe in that case was involved a criminal case. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. It's in California, but I just wanted to bring that to your audience's attention as well.
That is an interesting point. That's why I left it in there. See, Rick was asking questions about if governing body members do their shady stuff where they evade the court systems. And he was also bringing up, I thought that was an interesting point about the O.J. Simpson. He was found not guilty criminally, but then when family members brought it to civil court, they got some kind of whatever, I don't know if you can call it justice, but like they got something there. And so he's saying that civilly it's maybe easier to do things than it can be criminally. That's kind of how I understood what he just said there.
It sounds like it. And something that caught my ear was that he said there's no, how they say you have a right to a speedy trial or something, but he said that doesn't apply. So it could also maybe drag out forever. I mean, if I'm hearing that right.
Right. And even the Fifth Amendment, like, how you can plead the Fifth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like in a criminal lawsuit, you can do those things. But in a civil one, it's a little different. And so I just thought that was very interesting. It's not, if people want to look into that, it's kind of an interesting little fact there that I thought was kind of cool to talk about. So, yeah.
It sounds like they have to reply too, like that you would have to reply to it. Like Rick's point was that he avoided
he was trying to avoid
it for quite a while. Yeah.
Yes. And you're right. I think the lawyer's saying that in a civil case, you can't maybe do that. Like
it goes in your favor. He said it automatically will go in your favor if they don't.
Right. It's sort of like
respond.
What I've learned about, like, if it comes to like a divorce or something, if you're trying to divorce somebody and they're just avoiding, eventually it can get pushed through after so long. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you can't just keep avoiding, think you're never going to finish it out. There's certain things that you can't evade eventually. And so I'm thinking civilly, what he's saying is that in a civil court, it works more that way, where eventually it does that type of behavior works in the favor of the survivor. So
I like
that's
that.
how I took it, but we could be, I could be wrong, but that's just how I'm understanding what he's saying. So yeah.
I give you credit, and I like your Christian position too. I like that. If I was out seeking a lawyer, I would definitely get a Christian. Go ahead. We have a caller coming in.
I left that part in there too, because they all are very Christian, I feel like, on this channel. And I also found it very interesting that we never addressed this, that Stephanie said she's not a Christian. Yet I feel like that's news to a lot of people, because you are working with all of these very almost Christian nationalist type people. You know, they're very devout Christians. And even what she said earlier, didn't she bring up something about God?
It's God's work.
Yeah, so it's like the way she speaks sounds very Christian. So then my question to Stephanie, if she's watching this, if you're not a Christian, then what are you?
Yeah.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Just curious.
Yeah, just out of curiosity. Well, then what are you? Yeah, I'm curious.
Go ahead. I think it's a woman. Go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, Travis and hi, Star. I had a question. Can you talk a little bit about your experience specifically with CSA cases and how many like this one you have won?
Yeah, I mean, the question is, I mean, it's CSA cases, and we have, well, we do motel hotel cases where unfortunately children are trafficked for drugs by their parents in motels. We've got cases involving satanic ritual abuse. We've got clients who were trafficked on Epstein Island. We've got clients who were trafficked in LDS. We've got clients who are trafficked in Jehovah's Witness. We've got a sexual abuse across the state. We don't have any verdicts or wins. What you're seeing, again, we were talking about this before, is oftentimes, you know, these cases are settled. They're settled confidentially. And that's part of the process. And my job as a lawyer is to fight for you, to advocate for you, to tell you what my crystal ball says. But in the end, it's your case. And, you know, I have a duty to present my clients with settlement offers, and they have the right to take those settlement offers. I don't have the right to tell them what to do at that point. So the question with regards to whether it's a win or not, you know, I think we're winning right now by bringing these cases to fruit and to bringing the light to the darkness. So, I mean, a win is a win, but I think we're winning right now.
Okay, let's pause there. Let's talk about that, what he just said. Because the way I took that is that the way, not just him, but the way the system is set up is most of these cases settle out of court.
Yeah.
They don't. So when he says the win verdict or whatever, it's like it doesn't go all the way. It doesn't go in front of a jury. They do all of this hush hush behind closed doors. So then if that's the case, all of these cases, whoever contacts Travis Walker, as long as they know that these are all going to be settled out, it's going to be hush hush. Watchtower is going to do what they do best, which is, you know, everything's like quiet. We're going to pay you off. We're going to probably make you sign something. I mean, I can see them making them sign something, right? Like an NDA or something, and they're not allowed to speak about it. So like, I think people just need to realize that that's a possibility going into this, you know?
Definitely. And it totally works in Watchtower's favor, because you're not going to be like Candice Conti. Like, I think that they saw that happen with Candice Conti because she's it seems like she's the one that is well known to the community. And I don't think they want that to ever happen again. So anybody who signs on, they want to hush it up. They want it quiet, and they want it to go away without anybody else knowing.
Right. And I think this goes all across the board. We're talking about probably even LDS or any other Catholics. We're talking about anyone else that's dealing with this stuff. They're most of the time going to want to keep it quiet, which is understandable because, hello, you don't want your image tarnished. I mean, we all know that Watchtower is all about image, but at the same time, I think I don't like that idea, to be honest with you. I want it to be loud. I want it to be loud and make a big splash. You know what I mean? That's what I would be advocating for, I guess. But I don't know. It's like in this justice system, I mean, we're seeing what's going on with Washington and Trump's administration coming after them. It's like, it just feels like everyone is set up for failure. Like it's against the survivors and it's for the establishment and for the predators. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
you know?
and as soon as somebody tries to make a move to make things louder, it's like they got to shut them up right away, politically, religiously, and
Mm-hmm.
through, the justice system, the quote unquote justice system. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if we even think about the Australian Royal Commission,
Mm.
what even really came out of that? Yes, I agree that it woke a lot of JWs up, right? That was the silver lining. But in reality, like, who's going to jail? Who's who's having to, I mean, like, what is actually, how has it changed anything going forward is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
what are we seeing changed? What is being prevented? Who's going to jail? It's like when Trump tells everybody he'll lock her up. It's like, well, did they lock her up? I mean,
Right.
are the bad guys in jail yet? Is Watchtower, are the governing body members, are they being held responsible for any of this stuff? Like, what is actually happening? You know? That's what
Totally.
people should be asking themselves. Like, is the system up to help you, or is it to victimize you further? You know what I mean? Like, you're
Yeah.
coming forward and you're going to be going through these the horrific situations. What is going to come from this? Is it worth it? Because you are worth it as a survivor. Your mental health, your life is worth it. And I'm sure if you went and asked people that either were involved in the Australian Royal Commission or people that have been involved in these cases before, like, who knows if they actually feel like it even went anywhere, or if they could go back in time. My question to them would be, would you have done it again? Like, would you go through it again, or would you say this wasn't worth it? I don't know.
Mm.
These are the questions
I
that
mean,
go through my mind.
I mean, the best thing about the Australian Royal Commission is that a lot of people found out about it, and that was the thing that if you ask ex-JWs what was it that woke you up, a lot of them say, well, I saw the Australian Royal Commission. So it's the visibility was
Mhm.
it, but as far as what you're saying, as far as the victims themselves having to go through what they went through, would they say it was
Right.
worth it? I don't
And
know.
did they get justice? Did
What
they
did
really
they
get
get out of it?
justice?
Yeah.
Right. Did they get justice? So that's all I'm saying. It's like, yes, the silver lining was that it woke up a bunch of JWs and we got to see Jeffrey Jackson
Mm-hmm.
lie in front of everybody. Um, that was like eye opening, of course. And that was like, wow. But at the same time, like, it's like everything is just set up in a way that just doesn't, I don't think, do much for survivors. I don't know. I feel for people. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
and the Australian Royal Commission, what you heard, like that was like a lot of different religions, and what you did hear coming out of that was that the Catholics paid for people to get some kind of reparations and paid for therapy for people.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't hear anything like that with the Jehovah's Witnesses because they have to have funds available and set aside to pay those people.
Right.
Um,
Because that's an issue. That's a whole nother issue that people have with Watchtower, is that Watchtower claims to be this charitable, helping others type religion. Because I mean, that's how you get that church status, right? Where you're not paying taxes. You're claiming to be a church, and you're helping the community, right? But you're not even helping your own members who are going through a horrible situation with CSA. And
yeah.
what have you done to set up some kind of side fund, like you just said, how the Catholics did it, like offering therapy and helping their members to get the help they need? What is Watchtower doing for their members?
Zero.
Right. So that's a good point that you just brought up.
Okay, and I just have a question about your ties to. How does this tie into the international redress and the WOW website or organization? Are there ties there, or that was just another little bit?
It's my website, and I'm just holding the paperwork. That's what it is. So people can go on the website and print it out.
And so there was Stephanie mentioned that there was a database that people's information was going to get loaded into and sorted and such. Who owns the database, and where does that information How is it being sorted? Why? And can you explain a little bit about that?
I can explain that there's investigators that are looking into what we're putting into giving them. And that's all. I mean, you can trust it or you cannot. It's up to you. You know, that's what's going
And who
on.
owns the database exactly?
I mean, I don't even know how to go about telling you what it is. It's just a way we can connect with the investigators, and that's it.
Okay. She sounds, I don't know about you, but when I was watching this live, she was acting super defensive.
Yeah.
When
I'm glad I couldn't see her face when I was on the phone.
Yeah, it wasn't good. And so I'm thinking here, like, if someone is trying, if you're claiming you're trying to help people, why are you so like weird or defensive about legitimate questions? These,
Yeah.
what you were asking is just legitimate questions. And if you are someone to be trusted, you should welcome this and be like, oh, I totally get like your concerns, and you should be able to answer these like boom, boom, boom. Like, this is what's happening. This is where it's going. You know what I'm saying?
I'm still very confused about the ties that the investigators have to any of this, to WOW, to because that's totally separate from what they're saying. Is it's totally separate. The international redress is what they call it. Like, I'm still completely confused about how these investigators, what is their role in this redress? Why are they? I don't get it.
And also, too, the mystery behind the investigators. Like,
Yeah.
we're just supposed to be like, oh, the investigators. Who are the investigators? Like, give me, who are they? Like, why are they so secretive? Shouldn't we know who they are and know where your information's going to? Why is that such a bad question, or such a question that would be like asking, you know, making her feel like, oh, trust me or don't trust me? No, we don't trust you. Like,
Yeah.
why would anyone trust a complete stranger? First of all, I mean, fair thing. Like, we're just saying we don't know you. And secondly, when you're so like, trust me or not trust me, that makes me not want to trust you even further.
Right.
You know?
And I mean, we both of us have watched like every interview that Stephanie has done, and so far she has said that one of the investigators is out of Africa. So is the database sitting in Africa? I like, these are logical questions, like, who owns the database? Because whoever has the database has everyone's information. So
Yeah. And you don't know who's looking at the information, or who has having access to the information. And anyone that thinks that's crazy to be like asking about that, you're crazy. Because like, you're literally sending your information to a place where you don't even know. And Star and Stephanie are saying, okay, the redress is going to me, the two of them, right? To Star's location and Stephanie's location. We get that now. They're handling the redress because Stephanie has said, after finally clarifying, that she wants to, it sounds like her motive is to get legislation and just get like all these names so she can put it in front of Congress or something like that, you know, like make a big loud splash. And I get I get the idea behind it, but I don't think the execution of it or what she's telling people is going to go, it's not going to run just exactly as that, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if there's a plan, like, what is the plan? Like, so she mentioned Kash Patel many times. So are you meeting up with him again at some point? Like, and when are you in front of people? What you know, when are you in front of Congress? When can we see you, you know, representing ExJWs and victims? Actively doing it. Yeah, like,
not just saying
what is the plan? Instead of just saying, oh, I speak to Kash Patel, I do this, I do that behind the scenes. Like, I appreciate it if all those things are happening, but I have yet to hear that there's been like one piece of legislation that she is involved in coming up with or suggesting to some legislator. I mean, I don't know.
Right
So
now it's
far,
just
there's
words.
nothing.
Yeah, right now it's just words, and
And
there's
a
nothing
database.
really. Yes, and there's nothing really to back it up. So we're just hearing words, and she and Star, and now Dinah Lost is telling everyone to send in their information. Just do it. Nothing bad can happen. And I'd like to ask Dinah Lost, can you guarantee that? Like you're telling this to people. I heard you say it on Joe and Franz. Do it. Nothing bad can happen. And this is fine. It's no big deal. It actually, I don't agree with that either, because you don't know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like
Well,
making
when
a promise.
nothing, literally nothing has really actually been explained in detail as to all of these questions that we had. And it's dangerous to just hand over your information and your stories, and there's supposedly some movie that's happening. Like it's giving Tim Ballard. It's giving Tim Ballard. I feel it. Like,
yeah,
what's
that's
really
what it feels
happening
like
here?
Yep. And just trust it and just go with it, and everything's gonna be fine. And it's like, you know how many people did that with Tim Ballard? If anyone doesn't know the story of Tim Ballard and OUR, we're gonna be covering that in the future, but you really need to look into it, because Tim Ballard did the whole thing too. We're saving children, everything's great, send us money, we're going into these places and saving children, and then to come find out it was like a money scheme. Like,
and that's the whole thing too, Michelle, is that these investigators, like when we brought that up on our last podcast, these investigators say that on their websites that's what they're doing, that they are currently saving women and children and housing them. Where's the proof of that, though?
yeah.
And they're asking for money too on their websites. I'm not saying that, and I'm not talking about Travis here at all. He has nothing to do with this as far as I know.
Yes.
But the connections there are with these investigators. I won't name them now, but because she has already, and we looked them up. But they're out there. They're saying that they're doing all these things. Where is the proof of that? And how does this all tie together? It's really confusing.
And I also think people should be pushing back more, like how we are. I mean, you should be asking Stephanie these questions and hold her to that. Like, ask her, who are the investigators? We saw Slavica do it. She was like, do you have expert cult witnesses? And, I think Stephanie finally said, yes, we probably do, but that's not reassuring. Saying, yes, we probably do. Who are they? Like, who's advocating? Who is going to be your expert cult witness? Like, why is that so secretive? Why does everything have to be so secretive?
Yeah, everything seems to be.
Yet, okay, that's all secretive, but give us your stories. Throw your privacy out the window. You don't have to worry about secrecy for that, but we're going to be secretive about the investigators. We're going to be secretive about, all the other things that are going on. It's like, you're not going to tell us these things? Like, well, how are we supposed to trust you? We don't know what your database is. We don't know where it ends up. We don't know all the investigators, they act like there's more than one. And even if we do know a couple of them or the names, it's because you and I came to a lot of those conclusions. I mean, I know she threw out one person's name, but going down that rabbit hole, it was almost like the guy sounded like he wasn't even around anymore. And then you have to put two and two together, because you go to the podcast and you see all these, you know what I'm saying? It's not like she's sitting there saying,
you have to research it. You're not going to find anything out just by asking questions, which is strange.
Yes. And I do feel like she evades things, and I don't know if it's on purpose or if she just doesn't have the answers. But if you don't have the answers, then why is anyone sending anything to you?
Yeah.
If you don't have the answers of where and what, how and why would anyone send anything to you? And anyone that does, like, we're doing this last podcast, we're not going to talk about this anymore. We want to wrap this up because we're just so over it. And all we see in the community, again, is cognitive dissonance. People just continuing to go along with it. It doesn't matter if we warn or say, hey, ask questions. People aren't asking the questions. So at this point, after this, you're on your own. You are on your own.
Yeah, because and I think that people are just kind of like, it's strange that she, drops names all the time too, I think, and people maybe, kind of starstruck by that or something, but she mentions, oh, well, I know Mel Gibson. I was friends with Prince and his whole band. And like, who
Which
else?
is
Michael
irrelevant.
Jackson. She had a friend who knew Michael Jackson, and constantly.
A name dropper. And all that stuff is irrelevant, honey. Like, nobody cares
Yeah.
about that. Well, no one with a critical thinking mind is going to care. Maybe, I mean, at this point, what you and I have seen, I don't think anyone cares. Like, half the time, I feel like both you and I are like, why are we even doing this? Because it's like,
Yeah.
we care more about the survivors than anyone else, and also the survivors themselves. It's like they're not asking any questions either. So it's like, okay, honey, you want to do that, you do you, boo, because I hope that works out for you.
Yeah, and there's people out there that are just, pushing this along like, oh, well, we agree with Stephanie, even though we can't explain anything because she hasn't explained anything, but you should too. And it's like, I don't know. We have a community of people who just don't, they're just too comfortable not asking questions, I guess. I don't know. Oh.
Sheep. We've got sheep.
I don't want to insult them, but well, like it is.
If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is tough love here, people. Like, what happened when you were a JW? What are you doing now? Like, are you asking questions, or are you just going along with whatever they tell you?
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
It's
ask
like, some questions.
Did you like being a sheep for Watchtower? No. Do you like being a sheep for the ExJW community? Ask yourself those questions. Okay, I'm not trying to be mean here. I'm just saying, think about it,
Yeah.
Unless you don't mind being a follower. There are some people that just like doing that. I mean, like, you know what I mean? It's easier to follow. I mean, isn't that why we've had conversations? I've even heard it in the community that when you were a JW, it was easy because they just told you what to do and you just did it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so it's easy. So you're doing it again. You're like caught in this cycle of whatever certain people tell you, you just believe and you just go along with it. And if that's how you want to live your life, good for you. Like, yay, I hope everything works out well for you, but don't be complaining like you're now, like after leaving JW and saying, oh, I felt so this or that, when, it's like, how many times you got to get duped before you realize you're being duped?
Yeah. Right.
Sorry if I'm ranting here, but like...
No, I'm listening. I'm here for it.
And it's been 3 weeks since we've been able to even talk about anything. And so it's like, it's been like festering inside.
It's really frustrating. It's really frustrating to sit back and watch some shows and just see people just accepting and really not asking any kind of questions, just throwing themselves up on somebody's website. It's frustrating because I care about them. Not,
right.
I don't know.
Well, if we didn't care, we wouldn't be here right now. But we're at the point where I don't care about this anymore. Like I told you when we did this, like even when I talked to you about it, you were like, I don't even know if I want to do this because it's like no one listens anyways, right? We can literally lead a horse to water, but if you don't want to drink, we can't force you to drink. So if we care and we're trying to help people and they don't want the help, then what we're going to do is, this is our last video on this topic and we're going to move on to other topics. Like, so that's kind of why we're doing this last thing. Cause I think also people have reached out to you asking you questions too. And now you can be like, hey, just watch the video. This is what's going on. We're moving on from it. I mean, if legitimately people want to have help, we'll still help you. And if you have a question about something, we will talk to you about it. But at the same time, like when you feel like you're beating your head against the wall and no one's really listening, it's time to stop beating your head against the wall and move on,
It was nice to see Slavica. It was nice seeing her, give a little bit of pushback and ask, why aren't you saying if you're working with cult experts, then who are they? Because I would share them. That's what she said. She's like, I'm going to share. This is what I'm doing, and I think that's the way to do it. Be transparent.
Very. I agree with you. Well, rant over. We'll get back to the video. We're almost done with it.
They're putting the stories together, so it is like, able to comprehend all of it.
And the redress, that's only for the redress, right? Your website, and that's not tied to Travis in any type of way. Not legal documents.
No, there's two different entities. Actually, there's multiple entities. We work very closely with an investigative organization. Great people. I'm also affiliated with an accelerator group, which includes hero churches. It includes law enforcement and includes a number of anti-trafficking organizations involved in it, and that we're working with an investigation there. But no, there's multiple entities going on. I know that our clients have confidentiality and attorney-client privilege with us. That doesn't likely extend to any other organizations. I know that but I have been approached by a number of organizations who are, they're trying to organize, and they're trying to combat this evil in however they can. I don't have access to that database. I don't know about that database. I can't opine on those databases, but I do know I give people credit for, a lot of people are volunteering to try and organize these things and putting in hard, labor, time, and effort to do the good work. And it's not easy. And so I don't know ultimately what's going to come of it, but no, I mean, when a client signs up with us, I can't even tell you whether or not they're a client or not. I mean, if they come out and say that they're a client of mine, that's up to them. But I can't even tell you whether or not somebody's a client of mine or not. So that's how far our confidentiality goes.
Okay. And
I'd be happy to chime in here, Rick.
Go ahead, Stephanie. Yep.
Yeah, so the question on the redress, and Travis isn't familiar with this because this is the advocacy side of what Star and I do. He's representing us legally. So the redress forms are on Star's website, along with an attorney intake form that we created with the help of the investigators to get quicker access straight to Travis. You're welcome to just call or directly contact him separately, but we just made the form to make it easy. But the redress forms are something Star and I are doing together with the same investigators that are working with Travis. We're working also with them to try to formulate these cases much bigger. Travis had explained it earlier how you hope to almost bring like cases forward in like community chunks is kind of how I had heard. So the database or the investigative tool that we're using with the investigators, it forms those connections. For instance, Shannon, who's a good friend of mine, she's also on the WOW website advocating with us. Her and I didn't even ever know each other as Jehovah's Witness children, and it wasn't until we met later in the advocacy world did we realize that our stories intertwined and my story helped tells her story, and her story helps tells my story. So the more of these connections that we can make with the investigators is going to help Travis to do his job better, to represent you civilly.
So do you know who owns the website and how it's secured?
It's the investigative team that Travis had mentioned earlier.
Oh my gosh, her face. Do you see her?
I know, she was laughing.
She can't
That's
stand
okay.
you're asking these questions.
No,
it's like, what's so funny, Star? Like, what is so wrong with asking these questions? We want to know where the information goes because we want survivors to know where their information's going to protect their privacy and their identities and their stories. That is not funny to me.
And so far, so she said the investigators, Travis said multiple organizations and several volunteers. These are all the people that have access to your information, not named, just random organizations, volunteers, and investigators. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, and we're supposed
That
we're
makes
just supposed to
sense.
trust that. It's okay. Oh,
And
okay.
and as far as Stephanie's explanation there, 2 words: word salad.
Yeah, word salad. It is a word salad. I feel like the only one that kind of made anything more understandable was the lawyer.
Yeah.
And also right there, we get a complete confirmation. So any of those questions that we had or anyone else had, if they did, because at this point, I feel like we're the only ones asking these questions.
Mm-hmm.
But that is confirmed that the lawyer is not dealing with the redress. That is completely just Star and Stephanie's advocacy, is what she says. And the lawyer form, they actually have that on the website as a added help. But you probably could go right to Travis. If I were, this is me and my own idea. You don't, it's not advice to anyone. I'm saying if it were me, I would probably go, if I wanted to be a part of this, I would go directly to Travis Walker's website and fill out the attorney form there. That's me. That's me.
Contact them. Contact him directly. Why is this even this other thing?
Yes. I mean, they're saying they're trying to be helpful, which, you know, that's nice, but like, why not direct people directly to Travis's website and have them fill out the form there? Why do they need to go to the WOW website to access Travis's attorney intake form?
When they have nothing to do with each other. Travis just said, I have nothing to do with the database. I have nothing to do with that.
Yes.
The redress, whatever. Like,
yes. So that's also how it got confusing, because it seemed like everything was together. And now it's like, okay, maybe you shouldn't have, there's no need for anyone to be directed to your website for the attorney form at all. Just be honest and say, hey, Star and I are working together. We'd like to get legislation pushed through. We feel like the more names we have, similar to a petition, that's what I would compare it to. When you have a petition, you're showing the government you have all these names and people who have, you know, the backing of this idea. And that's how I feel like Stephanie should have approached it. And then I would have understood it right away. I would have been like, oh, it's like a petition. You want people to send their information. So you have all these people that are working together to get laws passed, you know, and legislation. And then you could say, okay, also too, we have a lawyer and he's working with me and Star, but it's separate cases. And if you want to join too, it's going to be separate cases. Here's Travis's information. Contact him, fill out the forms. Is that so
I have
hard?
to say that if I was doing that, if I was doing such a petition or whatever with legislation, I would also make it public, like where I am when I'm doing these things. You know, this is a schedule of Star's going to be here talking to this congressman.
Yes.
I'm going to be there on this day talking to this one. And this is the piece of legislation that we're putting forward. So far, there's nothing. So I don't know. And the last Joe and Fran show I watched, she's talking about now she's going to put something, or this is just an idea, but she wants to knock on doors like Jehovah's Witnesses and tell people clergy penitent privilege is. She wants to explain this in a pamphlet, what it is and why it's not a good thing. People know this already, by the way, Stephanie. You didn't discover clergy penitent privilege.
Yeah.
Not to be snarky, but I mean,
as a ex-Jehovah Witness, how triggering. We're going to go door to door and hand out pamphlets. And then don't forget the convention.
Are you asking for donations?
The conventions also, you know, we stay alive till, you know, 2024. So we've got the convention coming up. We can go door to door handing pamphlets. It's going to be a great time. You might as well be a GW.
And we're going to platform your tragic stories for everyone to hear. Won't that be fun?
And don't worry, if someone gets their hands on it, I mean, it's going to be fine.
It's fine. Just do it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, back to the program.
Running that. Star and I are just working as liaisons with them to provide them the information. That's why the addresses are ours. The other thing that we hope to use those forms for, one, is to help create these connections for the attorney. But the other thing is Star and I have been advocating for nearly a decade now to change laws and to also bring to fruition investigations, whether that be statewide investigations, federal investigations, and hopefully eventually internationally with the Human Rights Council. So the more of our stories we bring together for that in a redress form, we have a much more powerful force behind us.
There she does it again, though. She says she's been doing this, her and Star, for a decade. But wouldn't it be smart for her to show what she's been doing for the
what have you
decade?
done?
Yeah,
then
I'm
for
curious.
10 years.
Like you, if you have been, shouldn't you want to show that and showcase that? So it also builds
confidence
in you, seeing, oh, look what you've been doing. Wow, you really are doing this stuff. You know what I mean? Instead of just getting on screen saying, I'm so busy in the secular world. We're so busy. I talk to Kash Patel. It's like, what? Like, what are you actually, can you just tell us what you're doing instead of just word salading us all the time?
Yeah. And then again, she said, there's conflict here again, because she did tie that database again to Travis, or the forums anyway. We're just a liaison for the investigators. And then she immediately followed that up with something, help out with the lawyer. So I don't get it. I'm still, call me stupid. I'm blonde. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I don't understand anything she says.
I think it's called double speak. It's like where
exactly.
on one side of your mouth, one thing's being said, and then the other side, it's completely different. It's like, I can't keep up.
Maybe you're familiar with, just this last week, Jehovah's Witnesses, the organization, put out for the entire community of Jehovah's Witnesses in Canada. They're asking all the members to fill out a survey, a real Jehovah's Witness survey.
Yeah.
My feeling is they're doing that for the same purpose we're doing. Our redress is we're trying to collect voices to say they are dangerous. And Jehovah's Witnesses as an organization are collecting voices to say we are not dangerous. As maybe character witness statements would be a good way to describe it. So we know, and Travis can foresee the future because we see what's going on in other countries. This is about to pop wide open in the United States. The writing's been on the wall for years now. So the redress is to help us to be prepared for when this does happen, that we don't have to, we will already be prepared to tell investigators and judges and juries that, this organization as a whole is very, very dangerous. Their child protection policies are failing not only their own children, they're failing the society as a whole. Because when these secrets are kept, then a demoralization of society occurs, which causes decay and rot and a destruction of the world that we live in.
Okay, so all those submissions, they get transferred to the investigators somehow, and
yes.
They get held with the investigators?
Yes, ma'am. Scanned and put in, and they're the same investigators that are working with Travis. Scanned and put in, and then, the system looks for keywords so they can start to figure out, oh, this same perpetrator is named in this case, and, and look at a whole other state, his name's mentioned way over here. And then they can start forming those connections.
And this is whether or not that person already has a case going somewhere with another lawyer, or?
Yes, this is just a way for us to advocate collectively as a group for legal change and to force. We, the people, have the power, and it doesn't happen until we, the people, come together and demand of our government to initiate change in the way that we have allowed the religious institutions to hold the secrets.
So are you the advocate that's going to bring them to the
yes, ma'am,
or whoever needs
yes,
to?
ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, and I've been working in the secular field for quite some time, and I've formed some amazing connections, and I hope that those connections will bear fruit for all of us as a community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Well, very, very good, Steffi. Well, We're going to, in fact, we're going to be wrapping this up here shortly, sister. But Stephanie, thank you for coming on and giving us a rundown on exactly what's going on. Oh, you're very welcome, sister. How can they get a hold of you, Travis?
Well, I appreciate that. They can visit our website is traviswalkerlaw.com. You can give us a call, 772-708-0952 is the main line. We are located in Stuart, Florida. We have a big presence in the human trafficking world, fighting human trafficking. Get connected with us. You can email our intake team, intake@traviswalkerlaw.com. Reach out to us. It's a free consultation. It's a contingency fee case. You don't pay anything for us to take your case. It's just like an accident case, like a personal injury case. We have one life to live. And as a Christian, I have eternity in heaven, and what we do here on earth, it echoes in eternity. And so I really think that this is a huge opportunity for all of us to do the Lord's work, to step forward. And if you're interested, give us a call. Visit us at traviswalkerlaw.com. Love to help you out.
Can I read a scripture before?
Sure. Let that.
Okay, that's what we're going to.
I thought they were going to close with a prayer. I swear to God.
Right. That these people are very serious Christians. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong or right with that. I'm just saying know who you're dealing with is all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I
If
also
you're
thought,
looking for a good Christian lawyer who's doing God's work,
there you go.
Travis is your man.
Yeah. And I also thought it was funny how it seemed like Rick he could not go fast enough to get you off the phone at the end there. Like he was like, okay,
I had a lot more questions. I was like, I'm going to take up this time. I got lots of questions.
Yeah, I know. And also too, the way that, I've always said this, how Rick uses the word sister, brother and sister.
Oh, sister.
It's also so triggering. Yeah. It's like, ugh. It's crazy. But and then I wanted to leave the information there because if people actually do want to do this, I would say, like we said earlier, like, there you go. You can just contact him directly. If you have questions, you can contact him directly. If you're serious about it, that's how you do it. You contact him directly. I would skip the middleman.
Yeah.
There's no need for it. Do you have any final thoughts you want to say regarding all of this before we wrap it up?
Be careful. That's all.
We kind of sound like broken records now, don't we? Be careful. Ask questions.
Warning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's, I guess my final thoughts are too. It's like, just ask those questions. If you have questions, reach out to the lawyer, and just know that, anything you're doing when it comes to anything like this, just in general, it is a risk. So, and if you're okay with that,
I just want to reiterate that the reason we're doing this is not to be haters. We actually care about you guys. We really do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we can be kind of snarky. That's our personality, but it is what it is. Love us or hate us. We're still going to be here, and we're going to share information, and you can either take the information or not take the information. It really doesn't matter. It's no skin off our back. But if we see something, we say something. And I feel like we've said something, we've said our piece. And now that we have that update, because I felt like we had that original podcast where we had all those questions, not that all of our questions were answered completely this time. I felt like enough has been answered, and we just wanted to share that with our, at this time, very small audience.
Yeah.
Hey, it doesn't matter. We care about all 38 of you, or all 39
That's
of you.
right.
I don't know where we're at right now, but like, we care about all of you. Every person matters. So
that's right.
Yeah. So I guess that's all I have to say. That's another wrap.
We're done with it.
Yeah. And then I guess on to the next topic, right? I can't wait to do a different topic. Forward march.
Yeah.
Yay. See you next time.